Hey guys, a bit of a shorter video today. In this one, we're not going to talk about how Web3 or VR or whatever will change the world. We're talking about how I feel like I should want to change my world, but struggle to do so. This whole conversation started with me not being happy with certain things in my life right now. As some of you may know, I work as an engineer for a company here in France. As you can probably tell by my lack of French accent, or better than you communist attitude, I am not French. And as you can probably tell by my snarky comments about the French, there are a few things about my current geography that annoy me and make me want to switch boats. This is what sparked the whole lifestyle design conversation. Now, to make a long story short, lifestyle design has been popularized mainly by Tim Ferriss in his culture-changing book, The 4-Hour Workweek. In this book, he goes on about how, instead of being realistic, and I'm putting air quotes there, slaving away at a job you don't like, hoping you'll finally be happy when you retire at age 65, maybe you should reflect on your life and change it while you're young so that it suits the lifestyle you want right now, instead of waiting till you're old and worn out. And in this book, he eloquently demonstrates how one could go about doing just that. Basically what you do is, you answer the question, if I had $100 million in my bank account right now, what would I do with my life? To help with answering this daunting question, you can try answering these 5 questions instead. You should choose one place to visit, one thing to do before you die, so a memory of a lifetime, one thing to do daily, one thing to do weekly, and one thing you've always wanted to learn but never had the time to do so. You can also try dividing your future life into 3 categories and list up to 5 things in each category. These categories are 5 things you dream of having, including but not limited to material wants, such as things like a house, a car, clothing, etc. 5 things you dream of being a great cook, being fluent in Chinese, etc. And 5 things you dream of doing: visiting Thailand, tracing your roots overseas, racing ostriches, whatever. And then Tim Ferriss goes on to explain in his book that if you actually try to sum up the money you need for such a lifestyle, you'd be surprised by how cheap your dream lifestyle is, and how all you need to do is calculate a monthly needed income and figure out a way to reach that income. So for him, I think it was like having an Aston Martin DB9, and he figured out that the rental value on a clean one with 1,000 miles is about $2,000 a month. Couple that with a nice house in the middle of nowhere for $1,000 a month, etc. You could reach reasonable monthly expenses and still have the lifestyle of your dreams. So all you need to do is calculate a monthly needed income and figure out a way to reach that income, and blah blah blah. You've clicked on this video because you want to hear about my struggle with lifestyle design. Here it is. I blank out on all the questions. I do. I just blank out. I have no idea what to say. I have no idea if the answers that I come up with are really better than my current life, or if they're just sexier sounding activities that are marketed better and that won't really bring me extra joy once I do them. One place I really want to visit? None. I have exhausted the novelty of travel and don't really think that visiting any place would make me happier. One thing to do before I die? I don't know. Skydiving, hiking the Alps. I don't really care anymore. Like, I had my reckless phase and such stunts do not excite me anymore, and I've had my physical achievements when it comes to hiking the Alps, for example, and I know that having X or Y crossed out of your bucket list really won't make you happier. And the same thought process of whatever it is, it won't make me happier, applies to all of the questions I mentioned before. The more I progress in life, the more I realize the only truly blissful experience that I have are flow experiences, as defined by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi in his book, Flow. And those experiences, they can be attained without any significant alterations to my current lifestyle. However, as I said in the beginning of this video, I do have some pain sources in my life right now that I would rather live without. So should my lifestyle design experience be centered around limiting the negatives instead? Let's try that. I find that my current lifestyle lacks geographical freedom. My job isn't remote, and the leaders of my company are very obviously against the subject and are only given a few remote work days per year as a bribe to the employees. I would like to have a job that allows me to periodically go back to my home country and visit my family without having to stop work, because I do like having that balance when I go back to visit my family. I would like to have a job where the people know how to use Microsoft Teams or Zoom and have no problem with not meeting me in person. I would like to have a job where the skills I learn can be transferred to another country without too much hassle. But will that really improve my life? Take my current situation. Me living in a country which I only chose for opportunistic reasons because the job I have here is much better than the jobs I could have had back home. Me choosing to live in such a country has many pain sources, but at the same time, it has taught me so much. You learn so much more when you're put in an environment you did not choose, because you're so out of left field. You have no prior knowledge about it, so you're bound to learn about many different points of views they would have never considered if you stayed in your bubble. You grow so much more as a human being when you let life decide for you. And now you see my struggle with this whole lifestyle design thing. Being a master of your life sounds great, and for many people who are in unfortunate situations, taking control of your life and designing yourself a happy place on earth is the best thing you can do. But what about those of us who are lucky enough to only have a few pain points here and there and not really have anything major or disqualifying? Does life design really make your life better? Are you really wise enough to know how your life should look like and what your experiences should be? Should your life be designed or should it be discovered?